What's up, H-Town? What it do? Welcome to my new show called the Lone Star Chronicle. Texans football, Houston Texans. And this is my first broadcast. And this is dedicated to my dad, my beloved dad who just passed, Fred Watson Sr. My name is Fred Jr. Welcome to the show. Those of you that are Texan fans, this is your first time viewing, of course, because this is the first broadcast. Scroll to the bottom, hit the subscription button. If you have any comments, thoughts, ideas, please feel free, fill that out. We'd love to hear from you. And let's do this. What it do? Already. Okay. The history of the Houston Texans began in 2002, bringing the National Football League back to Houston, Texas after the city's previous franchise, the Houston Texans, were the Houston Oilers. The previous franchise, the Houston Oilers, were relocated to Nashville, Tennessee, who eventually became the Texans-Titans. The Texans are the newest franchise in the NFL in the AFC South. That will change after this season because the Oakland Raiders will be moving to Las Vegas. So they'll become the newest franchise. The Texans kicked off their inaugural campaign on August 5th, 2002, against the New York Giants at Fawcett Stadium in the Pro Football Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio, in front of 22,461 fans. The Texans' first season game came on September 8, 2002, again, and it was an intrastate game against their crosstown rival, the Dallas Cowboys, at Reliance Stadium. They won the game. Rookie quarterback David Carr hooked up with tight end Billy Miller on the third play from scrimmage for a touchdown, scoring the first points in Houston Texans franchise history. The Texans shocked the Cowboys by a final score of 19-10, becoming just the second expansion team to ever win their first game, as did the 1961 newly franchised at that time Minnesota Vikings. Gary Walker and Aaron Glenn were Pro Bowlers from this team, expansion team, which marks the most from an expansion team in the first season as far as going to the Pro Bowl. So in the coming weeks, I will take a look at and I'll revisit the history of the Houston Texans and their timeline and their coaches and how their seasons went. So in the coming episodes, I'll be looking at those things, and I'll do a brief preview of Sunday's game where the Houston Texans take on the Tennessee Titans, the very teams I'm speaking of. 2002 to 2005, like I said, I will take a look at the early years in the episodes ahead. The Gary Kubiak era, 2006 to 2013, great players like wide receiver Andre Johnson, cornerback Dante Robinson, quarterback Matt Schaub, running back Arian Foster. These were some of the great players that played on the Houston Texans during the times past, and they had pretty good teams. The Bill O'Brien era started in 2000. The Bill O'Brien era started in 2014 to the present, and they still have some pretty good players. Quarterback Deshaun Watson, defensive end J.J. Watt, linebacker Marcellus, I think that's his last name. Wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. So these are just to name a few. Sunday, the Houston Texans at NRG Stadium take on the Tennessee Titans. The Texans won last week. They won their division in the AFC South last week. They beat their Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-20 in a sloppy game. However, they won. So this week they really don't have anything to play for, as they are the fourth seed in the AFC for the playoffs. And if in fact they do win this Sunday against Tennessee, they will. And if Kansas City, um, let's see, if Kansas City loses to the Chargers in the early game, and the Texans would jump the Chiefs to claim the third spot, the third seed in the AFC for the AFC playoffs coming up. The game plan is simple for the Tennessee Titans: beat the Texans or go home. If they win, that'll put them in a wild card spot of a wild card, actually, and they would be in the brink of their fourth straight 9-7 season if they win. So the Texans, like I said, they're 10-5. They won the AFC South for the second consecutive year and for the fourth time in 5 years. That's pretty phenomenal for their franchise to accomplish. They have yet to play in the Super Bowl, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So the Texans offense is 11th in the league, scoring 24.3 points a game. Their defense is 18th, allowing 23.3 per game. The Titans, they're 10th in the offense in the league, scoring 24.5 points a game. Defense, the 13th, allowing 21.1 points per game. Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill is completing 70.7% of his passes, and for 9.6 yards attempt, that's tops in the league. It's pretty good. He definitely wants to win this game. He's never played in a postseason, so this would be a big time game for him. So this is basically like a playoff game for him. Houston defeated Tennessee 2 weeks ago, 24-21 in Nashville. The Titans get back running back Derrick Henry, who was recently he was a precautionary scratch last week in last week's game. He was dealing with a hamstring injury. The Texans lose their wide receiver Will Fuller, who has a groin injury. He's ruled out. So Kiki Colte will be replacing him between Andre Hopkins and Kenny Stills. So expect him to play limited snaps, as well as Deshaun Watson and Carlos Hyde, who has 1,057 rushing yards. That's 10th in the league. So Bill O'Brien most likely will hold out his starters for this game to rest them for the playoffs. So quarterback A.J. McCarron, backup quarterback A.J. McCarron, may be coming in for Deshaun to play on Sunday. That'll make the offense go down a little bit, kind of lower it. No disrespect to A.J. McCarron, but we know how good Deshaun is. So that's what's going to happen. And my prediction for Sunday's game, I'm going to say the Texans will pull it out. I'm going to say Tennessee will try to do too much and they'll make mistakes. And I'll say the Texans will win this game by a score of 17-14. So thank you for joining my first broadcast. Like I said, I'm dedicating this to my dad. He was a Houston Texans fan. I myself, my roots are in Houston, though I'm from the Washington area. I lived in Houston for 10 years, so they're basically like my second team. But anyway, thank you for joining the show. What it do, H-Town, Chunk in the Deuce. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining the Lone Star Chronicle. My name is Fred Jr., Texans football, and we'll see you next time. Peace.